Elliot Sean, way out there in Boston, Massachusetts.
Thanks for having me again, guys.
Yeah, sure, Sean. And last but certainly not least, Mr. N. Guy Kroll from wonderful New York City, New York.
Hola. Good to be back.
It's wonderful how we can be spread across these grand United States of ours and all talk at the same time.
Yeah, it's almost like Thanksgiving. Let's talk about Thanksgiving, Jeff.
Actually, let's talk about the new year. Happy New Year, Jeff.
Oh, why, thank you. To those who don't know what N. Guy's talking about, it's the Jewish New Year. So we just
I had
had
no
Yom
idea.
Kippur.
Let's talk about Jew stuff.
Sean is inventing a new character today. I don't
Yeah,
know
who
what
is this guy?
No, maybe I'll explore more later. I think he's a game reviewer.
Oh no. Last night I was talking to some people about how awesome it would be to dress up in full Star Trek uniforms and go to a Renaissance fair. And sort of pretend that you're in one of the episodes where you get stuck in the holodeck and the holodeck is freaking out, and how like pissed off the Renaissance fair people would be to have you walking around in your Star Trek stuff. It would be fantastic.
God. That would be a great idea. Like, you'd just be like completely killing the mood by doing that, or
Yeah. Except for you, it would be enhancing the mood because you would be on the holodeck.
But you could easily show up to a Star Trek convention wearing the Renaissance Fair outfit and be welcomed as a member from the holodeck.
God damn. And that just made me kind of sad, like when you have to jump in your own comments and pretend to be an anonymous poster
if you looked at
defending
the
what you say.
site too, which is funny now to sound like the crackpot myself, I see a prevailing bias towards Sony in the stories. When you looked, I looked about 10 pages deep, and you see such stories as one with the headline, Sony was prepared for more PSP Go backlash. Now keep in mind, this is just a news item on Sony's attitude toward how consumers might respond to PSP. Let me read the fucking first few sentences for you. A revolution never happens easily. People die. Governments crumble. Friends turn to enemies. You know where I'm going with this. When change is on the horizon, resistance is inevitable. Some would rather the situation remain the same. Change, they claim, is too uncomfortable, too risky. It takes too much time, energy, and money. That's where the possibility of things not working out. So indeed, a good case could be made against revolutions. Obviously, the gaming industry's version of change or revolution is less dramatic, but nonetheless, resistance of a different kind rears its head. That would be rears. The PSP Go is one device that signals to a revolution, a change in the way games are purchased and played. And yes, this same little device is facing an uphill battle. But it's like, okay, really? You're starting off talking about fucking people dying and bloodshed and fucking collapse of a whole way of living in an actual revolution as your lead to a story on a fucking version 2.0 of a consumer fucking piece of hardware. Like,
dude, electronics is a serious business.
That speaks directly to that awesome New Yorker article that took Seth Scheisel to task for his article on Rock Band Beatles. You guys all know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. It was all just like super inflated claims about every game ever reviewed.
Right now,
like
Seth is a great writer, and he's a great advocate of gaming for the New York Times. So obviously, he has a very unique and cool podium from which to talk about games. But the New Yorker wrote a guy in the New Yorker wrote a very pointed satirical piece based on the fact that Seth had written that Rock Band Beatles was kind of this like watershed revolutionary moment. What did he compare it to? It was something else in the Beatles' history.
compare it to them playing on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Thank you. Yeah, this was that next big revolutionary moment, and the guy in the New Yorker. I mean, his point was basically exactly what you guys just said, that the sort of myopic view of what makes a revolutionary moment in the real world.
Right, and let's even compare a revolutionary moment such as the Beatles appearing on the Ed Sullivan Show and say the fucking French Revolution or the American Revolution or the Russian or Chinese or any of them, and the fucking, especially in those cases in Russia and China, the fucking millions and millions of lives lost and catastrophic consequences. And here we go, Sony's got a new fucking portable device for you to play games on. Great. Like, it makes me angry. There's like such fucking goddamn tiny minds in this industry. I mean, they're not even in the industry, but just
Yeah, they're not.
Hooray. Batman.
So do you want to talk about Batman, or you want to hear about some more
talk about
game
Batman.
related absurdities?
I don't want to talk about Batman. Let's talk about Batman.
Batman. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I haven't finished it yet.
One of the cooler things about this Batman is that it remembers that first and foremost Batman's a detective. So it's got a detective button that I can do some detecting with. It's really polished too. The grit is polished and the polish is gritty. And also I really like how it remembers that Batman is psychological. You know, like a lot of people that make games based on Batman forget that he's almost as crazy as the guys that he fights, and in fact he's almost responsible for their existence. And this game really remembers that.
I think that's a pretty decent review.
Well said. Yeah.
Yeah.